everybody, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar. Child, look a fool, but tell me why my hair look a mess to me. This woman at work, a non-black person, just rolled up on me and was loud as I don't know what. She was like, oh my gosh, your hair is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Went all the way off. She said, your hair is so thick, the curls are beautiful. Child, my hair toe down to the ground right now. I was like, I had to make it plain. This is not the best that my curls have ever looked like. Don't get it twisted. It's time for this to get washed. And if I'm in the mood today, I am gonna wash it. But if not, I don't know what I'm gonna do to it, because I want to at least comb/brush it out, child. I don't know. Anyway, so that happened. I just wanted to get that out the way. What else? A lot of things kinda have happened. Tell me why I'm behind. If this video pauses, it's gonna be because this boy just called me. Quit looking at me. Quit looking at me. Stop looking at me. You get in that car. Stop looking at me. This fool shoot a bird at me. How dare you? How dare you? He sees my, you get on my nerves. He sees my the way I'm mouthing it. He's reading my lips. That's what I meant to say. Oh my god. Child. Anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. No, I'm finna make this light today. I should hit his car. Wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all, I'm sorry for acting so ignorant. It's funny. We have never like left out at the same time. It's so random. Child, and all of us was tired. Shoot, I left and went through the light. The light was yellow. The person that was behind me, I know that mug was good and red. We tired. We ready to go. And then they had the audacity to make it mandatory for quite a few people to have to stay over today. I was like, what? Child, as soon as I came in the door, all I saw was highlighted names. I was like, I don't even want to pay attention to this right now, because I feel like this is going to be some foolishness. So when I went back later on, everybody named mama name was up there but mine. I said, hallelujah in the name, because I'm tired. Y'all, I'm so tired. I got less than 5 hours of sleep. I am exhausted. And y'all already know why. The upstairs neighbors don't know how to control their children or themselves. They don't know how to govern themselves. Child, I'm so sick and tired. Like, I'm tired for real. Like, I should be able to do whatever I want to do for the time I get off work, whether I get off after working a 12-hour shift or an 8-hour shift. I should be able to do whatever it is I feel like doing and still get an adequate amount of rest. I have not gotten an adequate amount of rest when I have to go to work. Let me make sure I specify. In almost a month, if not an actual month by now. So I'm just like, y'all is irking my soul. Oh, okay. I was like, what is going on? This truck that this man is driving in front of me, it says vehicle speed monitored by GPS. So he's not going to be speeding. He's going the exact speed limit. I ain't mad at it. I ain't even mad. I'm not even mad. But anyway, y'all, so I'm tired, like for real. I still ain't seen the first episode, second episode, third, and possible fourth, if there has been a fourth episode of Bell Collective. At this point, I ain't doing the recap review of it, child. I'm just like... So, if I'm in the mood today, I might watch it. But if not, I don't know. At least one of the episodes. Because this is the type of day where when I get home, I'll eat. And then I'm tired. So, I might actually be dozing off to sleep at random, trying to stay awake to just watch stuff to enjoy my time off. But I can't even really enjoy my time. I don't like that, because these people got to hurry and get out. The landlord said that they got to get evicted because this don't make no sense. And I keep on making sure that the little clips that y'all have been seeing as of late, I've been making sure to post those things, send those to her or whatever, right? The things that I posted. I've been sending the clips to her. And she's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, this don't make no sense. And I'm like, I know. Like, there are times on purpose I will send her stuff after the sun has gone down, because I'm like, this has been from the time their feet touch the floor until they finally decide to go somewhere and sit down. And there are times at 11 o'clock p.m. they still running around like they on crack. I don't be understanding. I don't understand, like they on something. I don't be understanding what be going on. But anyway, y'all, before I continue to tell you about, possible foolishness and other little random stuff that has happened at work, let me take this moment to discuss something very serious with y'all very briefly. It is about my family. So the other day, my cousin had brain surgery, which, that is a very, very, very high risk, very dangerous surgery. She has brain cancer. So they went in to try to remove as much of it as they can. And after she has healed, they are going to then start radiation and all that stuff in an effort to try to shrink it. I do not know what stage it is. I asked my mom if she knew what stage it was, and she said she didn't know, but it's pretty bad. And yeah, the only reason why we even know what's happening is because she started experiencing like memory loss, and she was just like, I can't believe I don't remember. Like, it's like the way that she was saying it, it was just like, I know I'm forgetting and I don't know what's going on. And so, along with like other little stuff, but that was like the main thing. And so she went and got checked out. They said it's cancer. And so when my mama initially told me this, I was like, well, what stage did they say? And she was like, well, she didn't tell me. I have no idea. So yeah, definitely, y'all, lift my cousin up in prayer. Because since I was a child, she's always like, random stuff has always been, it's been interesting, to say the least. Like something has always been going on with her. So I don't know I don't know why this is something that is happening. I hadn't heard anything in quite some time since we were like a lot younger, as far as any sickness, illnesses or whatever. So yeah, this is something that came out of left field, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm hoping that she pulls through. I'm hoping that it shrinks and that it is something that will be eventually a testimony that she will have to share with others at some point in time later on in her life. She has a son who is of age now. So, he's old enough to understand and all of that. So, but yeah, it's a lot. So, please lift my family up in prayer. My mom is doing okay. I talked to her and my daddy the other day, did a little face situation where we were, talking on video. That's what I was trying to say, a video. Y'all might hear her, and I'm sorry. And this person is in front of me, and they don't know how. I'm just like, Lord, how hard is it to swipe a card? Jesus, Jesus. But anyway.
Thank you for your business. We look forward to
So, but yeah, y'all, my mom is doing okay. Y'all excuse me. I've been eating very bad. So mucus is abound. That's what's going on here with all the clearing of my throat in this moment. It's definitely mucus, and it's my fault. But the saving grace, the great thing about everything so far is that I have not had a terrible menstrual cycle. I've been doing a little bit of bad, but I've still been doing a whole lot of good. Like I was telling y'all yesterday, I was eating nectarines and stuff like that. I drink a whole lot of spring water. I feel like that's what it is that it be flushing stuff out. So, yeah, my buddy is here. I'm so excited. He is everything. He be on his job. I'd be so good for it. But yeah, y'all, my dad is doing okay. When we were all doing the video thing, they were talking to me, and they were talking about how there was some, my brother's been like basically cooking for them and all of that. And so it was like, yeah, we waiting to eat dinner. Whatever he making, we can't think of what it is he said. I'm like, what is he talking about? So my brother overheard the conversation and he came in there and he told me what it was. I was like, oh, okay. I've never had those before. Y'all know those, the meat. I know I'm about to mispronounce it. Birria. I already know I'm saying it wrong. But like if you watch mukbangs and all of that, like it has been the craze over the last like year and a half. But people have been mainly, it's like a slow way that you cook the meat, and it's seasoned. It should be easy to pull apart and all that stuff or whatever. And most people have been putting it into tacos, well, making like a taco out of it or whatever. I think the outside is a cheese shell if you put it on taco. Yeah, he doing that meat. I don't know if they were doing the taco aspect of it as well, but he had been cooking that. So he told me everything he put in. I said, everything sounds right. Like, it sounds like you're doing right as far as all of that is concerned. And when it comes to my brother, he has always been interested in like cooking, but I never knew that he was like really interested in it like that, on the level like I am. Like it's, I know for a fact it's therapeutic for me to cook and to bake, but for him, like, he knows how to bake like stuff from scratch, make stuff from scratch. And it was mainly just myself and my sister who was doing that while we were growing up. But I really love it. Like, just to see my mama, when she would make carrot cakes and apple cakes and stuff like that, specific cakes like that from scratch. If you know how that's done by most people, I don't know if it's just a southern thing or whatever, but she uses her hand to mix the ingredients. She washes her hands thoroughly, and it's just the whole process of watching her do that. It's a very delicate way that she makes certain cakes, and that's one of the few cakes that she makes where she uses her hands to mix the stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh, always been captivated. My mama, like, and when I tell you, people who say they don't like carrot cake and they don't like all these other cakes and stuff like that, carrot cake doesn't seem like a popular cake. And I don't understand why. I just be like, y'all had to have had nasty cakes from people who just don't know how to cook. Because carrot cake has always been delicious to me. Because I always had my mamas. If it wasn't something that my mama or one of my grandmamas or like maybe like a handful of my aunts have made, because all of my relatives can't cook. All of my relatives can't bake. I already know that there are specific people that I can get things from and I'm okay. So, yeah, for me, I already know carrot cake is up there for me. My favorite cake is a brownie bottom cheesecake, which is actually tied for a pecan pie cheesecake, I guess you could say. Whatever that is, it's like half and half. That's my favorite cake. But yeah, top 5, carrot cake is up there. Sorry, I don't know what people be doing to the cakes to make people be like, I don't like that. I know people who say I don't like. Let me stop for the school bus because I ain't finna get no ticket. Almost all of my aunts were bus drivers. I never understand people who do stuff like this. Tell me why, speaking of bus drivers, my mama was telling me the other day that my sister used to tell her all the time when she was living in North Carolina. I lived there as well, but I'm just saying. I just stopped watching the news and all that stuff, so I had no idea that all this was going on. That people were running students over all the time because they were flying through the bus stops. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? I don't understand. And if the bus driver doing what they're supposed to do, they give you an adequate amount of time for you to be like, all right, now I done already put this, I already put the yellow flashing lights out there. Y'all already know what it's hitting for. Don't try me. So yeah, y'all. Anyway, so when it comes to the cakes and stuff, I don't understand people who don't like carrot cake and like stuff like that. But when I've made certain things, there are so many people that I know who say, I don't eat cakes or pies or cobblers and stuff that have fruit in it. When I made it, they ate it. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, y'all. So, but yeah, we had a conversation, and then my brother came in the room when he overheard, you know, them trying to explain that they've been waiting on him because they've been waiting on dinner. So my brother was like, well, it'll be ready around 8. I guess it'll be ready, and I hope it's gonna be good or whatever, because he ended up substituting one of the ingredients for something else. And I told him, well, that's not that drastic of a difference. It's not gonna be that bad. So, you know, I think it's gonna turn out. I think it turned out good. I'm gonna have to ask them how it turned out once I get home. But anyway, y'all, but yeah, we had a great conversation. After that, he was in the room the rest of the time talking to me. They were kind of thrown off that he and I were discussing like foods that aren't normal foods that you would hear about people who would eat, you know, eating stuff like that here. Would y'all go? Just like don't hold like that. Y'all, I'm sorry. Like pho. I want pho so bad, y'all. I want pho so bad. Authentic pho. And I was going to go to a place here once they got it. And I mean, it had a great rating and all that stuff. And there are people who I'm like really close friends with that I have worked with and all of that are from the Philippines. And they were like, nah. Eventually one location did come about and it's decent. But the location that is the closest to and the most accurate is like an hour and a half to 2 hours away if I really want that experience. So if I ever do get the chance to eat pho, I'm going to go to the location that this one particular person told me about, because they go home like once a year, like for a month, 2 weeks to a month, and set it off. And I've always been fascinated with pho anyway. We were talking about pho. We were talking about, I told my brother that I want to have authentic ramen, whatever, because the stuff that's in the packs here are disgusting to me. They make me nauseous and throw up, even if I don't add the seasoning pack, or if I just do half of it to lessen it, because it's too much sodium, Lord. It don't even make no sense. It's just disgusting to me. I don't understand how people eat that stuff like it's everything. It is so nasty. I don't care how you doctor it up. I have bought them before, and I've added shrimp. I've added all kinds of stuff. It was nasty. Added cheese. Added all kinds of stuff. My ex was eating it up. It was disgusting to me. I can't do it. Like, that's why when we were homeless, I couldn't do it. He was eating that happily. I was not eating nothing. I was drinking water, and that was it. And that's why I started wasting away, so to speak. But yeah, we were talking about that. So I want to have authentic ramen. I want to be able to have authentic ramen. And I mean, it's like little stuff like that. So I was explaining to them my fascination with pho, to the point where it's always been interesting to me for me to see people who live for pho, who they can eat so much of the stuff, whether there's meat or any type of a protein or like shrimp or anything like that might be incorporated. They can eat a whole lot of it, and they can be teeny tiny. And it's just because of what's in it. You don't have to do like we do here in the United States and overdo it. And you can still be very, very much so full. So yeah, y'all, we were talking about food. They called me up on my cousin's surgery. My sister is doing a whole lot better. She has been, they've been having to do a lot from work from home, which I'm glad about. She's a very demanding job. Very demanding. That's all I can tell y'all. It's a very demanding job. Very important job. But just in case y'all forgot, she had COVID. And she ultimately actually ended up getting it when she went to the doctor. She went to the doctor and caught it while in the waiting room. She didn't catch it from work. It's like, golly, what kind of foolishness is this? So my parents, they have been like ordering food and having it sent to the house, groceries and stuff like that to, help her, because they can't, like my daddy normally would have been setting it off and just driving from the house up to her place to go and do whatever need to be done, but we can't get near her. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can be near her, out of fear of catching something or whatever. So they've just been taking it upon themselves to order food and have it sent to her, and anything else that she might need, just been sending it to her so that she can go and retrieve it from the front desk at her building that she lives in. So she's doing better. My friend who caught COVID, she's doing a whole lot better as well. She did not leave the house when all this happened, and it was because her mama, even though her mama going all the way through, her mama was like, no, I want you to be here with me. And it was basically because her mama was being a mother and wanted to keep her eyes on her. And I said, that was so sweet. Then come to find out her sister going all the way through, her sister done shattered a rib or something. I said, what kind of food? I said, how everybody going through it at the same time, Lord? She was like, yeah, we just said it the other day. I was like, girl, what is going on? It was already bad enough that they mama going all the way through. Her mama is actually able to keep down a lot more now. She's having an appetite. Things aren't all tasting like metal and all this other stuff. So she's doing a lot better. My friend is almost over all of the symptoms and stuff that she's experienced. She has tested negative, but she's having the residual coughing and all that stuff that she's trying to fully get rid of. She has some of the alkaline teas that I have as well. So I know she ain't been doing right. She stopped eating beef for a long time, and she was like, yeah. So I started back eating beef. I said, what? Y'all, when I tell y'all she hasn't eaten beef in I don't know how long. She done started back eating beef, and she was like, well, since I'm going through it anyway, I might as well. I was like, now, ma'am, what in the world? So I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that was just a part of her being in her feelings, and she just dipped back into something she ain't done in I don't know how long. Her boyfriend offered to pay for a room for her to just be closed off from everybody. But like I said, her mama wanted her to be at the house with her, so she stayed at home. I don't think she wants me to share this good news, but I mean, it's some amazing news that has happened to her and her sister, and ultimately her boyfriend, who she presumes is going to be her husband someday. So until that time comes, I'll just keep that under wraps, but just know that I'm very excited. Not marriage or anything like that just yet, but they do plan on getting married. But anyway, what else? My friend who had monkeypox, he just updated us on his recovery and all of that, y'all. His healing, he looks the same again. All the little stuff that was right here, I don't know what he put on his face, but he doesn't have any really residual situations up here and all that, because it was very prominent right here. All of this went down. I don't know what he did that seems to be different from what everybody else was doing once they ended up catching it, but he looks like himself again. But he did indeed have it. The swelling went down. I told y'all, when I saw what I saw, I thought he was about to say he had gotten beaten up. Because half of his mouth was swollen. I was like, what in the world? Then he come to find out it was alive. And while he was doing the live, all you could hear was him sounded like he had a lisp. And he does not have a lisp. And it was because his mouth was so swollen. His lymph nodes was so swollen. It was bad, y'all. But he seemed to have pretty much recovered. For the most part. The worst part of it is over. He isn't hurting anymore because he said he was experiencing pain. And so yeah, the worst of it is over, so I'm glad about that. So ultimately, everybody for the most part is doing a whole lot better. And so I'm like, thank goodness, because it was just too much. Everybody was literally everybody was going through it at the same time. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Why? So where can I go now? Oh, I don't think I ever told y'all. So this was either Sunday or Monday when this happened, right? Tell me why. I was minding my business. I'm on the way to work. I don't think I told y'all this. I don't think I did. If I did, I apologize. I was on my way to work, and we were less than 1 minute away from the turn in of the driveway into work. And the next thing I know, I see deer. And I'm like, okay. I see the deer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was literally 3 deer standing next to one another on the side of the road. And I'm like, wait a minute, baby, ain't nobody got time for that foolish and that. Okay, like, why, honey? Let me try. I don't know why I did this like this. I shouldn't have did that. Y'all, that's my bad. I'm doing the absolute most. I'm doing something I wasn't gonna do, y'all. I'm doing the absolute most. Hold on. Okay, y'all. So I just whooped in instead of going in front of where the car at. Cause I don't know who this person is. They appear from out of nowhere, and it's like old beat up. Like we got the same. I ain't even gonna go in there. Anyway, it's an old beat up car, so to speak. And I'm like, where you keep coming from out of nowhere, honey? Like I don't understand. But anyway, let me turn this car off. So 3 deer. It was 3 deer standing next to one another, and I saw them. Way before I got to them, I said, oh, God. Like I already been telling y'all, they've been setting it off on the left, right, front, and the back. All summer long. They was barely out and about in the winter. Like, it was to the point where I don't think hunters really were able to get nothing unless they took it upon themselves to go out, like, deep into the woods. So, anyway, it was 3 of them, right? So, I was like, what in the world? And it was raining. It had been raining. It wasn't raining in that moment, but it had been raining, so the road was slick and wet or whatever. Child, this man, I was behind somebody. He didn't see them until he was hitting one of them, and that's when he started braking. He hit one of them, y'all. So when I first go on that street, I'm in the furthest lane away from the lane that I need to be in on purpose, because sometimes I like to go slower so that anybody else who from work want to speed by, y'all can go ahead, speed by, do what you're going to do. But I'm finna look out for these deer. And it don't even be that deep for me. Like if I'm going to be late for the meeting, whatever, it ain't that deep yet again. Like they be doing the most when it comes to this meeting. So like I said, I saw the 3 deer and I was like, oh my gosh. And I started braking when I saw them. And I already knew I was in front of somebody that I worked with, but I never knew who drove that vehicle, right? It's an SUV. So he hits the deer, one of them. I don't even know where the other 2 went. I saw all 3 of them crossing the street. I don't know if one or both of them ran back the other way or they completely crossed, but the other one, he hit it. And the way he hit it, it's like we were both in the same lane instead of right here. We were both over here. And he kept going after he like hit it, like eased on by, but the way he hit it, the deer like went to this side. So I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh. I was like, no. Let me come to a complete stop. So as I'm coming to a complete stop, I said, I don't know if the deer is dying or if it's, just stunned and it's trying to get up. Like what? That mug was like skip-scapping and, that's what we say. That mug was skip-scapping and, what's the word? What's the word that people say? That mug was buffering in some more. And it was trying to get up. And I was like, I think it's trying to get up. Lord, I think it's trying to get up. Because normally I encounter them and they are about to dart into the street. They are standing in the street or they are dead. So I'm like, Lord, I feel like it's alive. Let this mug get up. I'm talking about the mug is skip-scapping. This is what it's doing. Skip-scapping and buffering over to the side of the street just like this. This is what it's doing, trying to get up. I was like, oh my God. So when it finally got over to the side of the street that I was on in front of my car, it finally was able to get up and then it ran off into the direction that it was already in. I know this better not be the mayor, man. I know not. I know not. Because like I told y'all before, don't nobody else have that vehicle around here. Oh, I'm going to see. If he roll back, if he come back up this thing, I'm going to know it's him. Because he know what my car look like. Everybody know. Even if they don't know, they do. Because I have very, very clear identifying things on my vehicle. People be knowing it's me. It better not be him. Anyway, I'm going to wait and see if he roll back up. And I'm talking about the OG married man. I ain't talking about the man who's divorced now. Or so he say. I'm going to get into that. I might get into that later. Depends. There ain't going to be no long story to tell anyway. So anyway. So I see him hit the deer. Like I said, right? So the thing done got up and got out the way. So I'm like, okay, I'm in the clear. Ain't no more deer coming. So I saying to myself, should I pull over and ask the person, are they okay? Or should I go to work? Because I'm cutting it close as it is. And I already told y'all, I don't care. I don't want to see these people. So I'm going to take my time. I was about to turn that into a moment, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take my time and come into work. And I mean, I left. That was the crazy thing. I left within enough time just in case it started raining again. Because here, it was like a percentage. It was a lower percentage. But that mug could say 15% or 10%. And it will be pouring down raining outside. I ain't trusted. So I left home at a decent time. And didn't have to speed to get to work. I was going to get there right in enough time to where I could clock in and safely get to the meeting before anybody says, oh, this is going to be a half an occurrence because we consider you to be late. So, yeah, I said, let me just pull over. It ain't going to take that much. You know, if the person opened the door, let their window down, I'm going to ask them, you know, are they okay? So when they did, I said, let me pull over. So I pulled over. And I let my window down. They opened the door and they had let their window down. I said, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I think so. I said, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. I said, okay. So when he opened the door, I now know who drives that vehicle, right? So I'm like, okay, he worked in my department, just in a completely different capacity. What the now divorced man does, that's what he does. So I was like, okay. I just never knew what his name was. So when I go to the meeting, they waiting. Ain't nobody there but me and one of the other people that do what he do, right, at this point, and a supervisor. So then my buddy come, who does the same job that he does. So by this time, ain't but 3 actual people who's supposed to do some work that's at the meeting, not including the supervisor. So I was like, I think that one of y'all's folks hit a deer. And so they was looking at me like, okay. So then I saw him, but I didn't. Like, I was kind of far off from him. I was close enough to where he heard me asking, was he okay or whatever. But it was, first of all, it was dark outside. It was dark. So I was like, okay, I think that's who it was. So I kept looking at the door. I was like, I think that's him. I think it's him. I think it's him. So then when he came to the door, I was like, I think this is him. So when he was passing me, I asked him again. I was like, are you okay? Just to make sure I wasn't crazy. He was like, yeah, I am, but my car isn't. I was like, dang, that's messed up. And so somebody asked him, was he okay after that? And he was like, not really. I mean, I'm in here. I'm here. Now, people, I found out today, literally today, at the meeting today, that they gave that man a half of an occurrence. I said, you got to be joking. He was like, yeah, they gave me a half an occurrence. I was like, you literally hit a deer on the way to work. Your car tore up. You still gathered yourself and came on into work instead of going home like most people would. He was like, at this point, I should have just gone. Y'all gonna give me a half an occurrence? I was like, so are you gonna fight it? He was like, I might. And I'm just like, that is stupid. Like, you still came to work. He literally still clocked in before the time he would have actually been late and everything. So I was just like, y'all just trifling for no reason. Like, the people who actually try to do right by y'all love to screw them over. But go off though. So anyway, that's what happened with the deer situation. So today, I was minding my business, and old boy volunteered to come into work. Well, no. Did he say he volunteered? I asked him, did he get assigned? Either he volunteered or they made it mandatory for him to come into work. Anyway, he was like, I'm going to be at work today. I was like, oh, did you get assigned? And he said, yeah, I think so. That's what I'm thinking. He did say he got assigned. So anyway, he was going to do his old job all day. he wasn't gonna be up there with us. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, make sure you find me because I need to lay eyes on you at some point in time. I didn't think he was gonna do it. Like, I say stuff like that. I didn't think he was gonna do it. So maybe an hour or two into the shift, he rolled up. So he rolled up and immediately he gave me a hug. He was like, you all right? You good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And so we caught up for a few minutes or whatever. And of course, all eyes were on us. And I'm like, child. And if I am screwing him, then what? Like, it's like, y'all just be doing the most. When y'all see somebody talk, like, even literally before this man ever started hugging me, everybody word buzzing around. Are they screwing? Y'all, I think y'all screwing, rolling up on him like, what y'all got going on? What are you talking about? People can't have a conversation, child. I just can't. If I decide to screw him, that's going to be between the two of us. They ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Like, child, I just be like, what's wrong with you? Y'all really don't have a life. And all the dirty stuff y'all be doing, all the low down dirty stuff y'all be doing. Y'all got the audacity to worry about what I may or may not be doing. Please stop. Stop the madness. So anyway, then he came back later on. I didn't expect to see him no more. So he rolled up and I was like, you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good. He hugged me again. I'm like, oh gosh, now it's really finna be a problem now. The people finna really set it off and be doing the most. So he was like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, you look like you done had a good day. I'm talking about, this man was smiling from ear to ear. He was like, I did. I ain't have to do no work. I ain't got to do no work. I ain't had to do no work for 8 hours. I was like, well, good for you. I'm here for it. So I had a decent day. I mean, the most was popping off. Like, child, I cannot wait until I can tell y'all where I work after I am long gone. Because the most be popping off. And y'all are going to be sitting there like, what? This is what they do for real? This is a process? Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all, the most. So anyway, he rolled up again and hugged me again. And so, like, we started having, like, a serious conversation about some stuff. And so, that it was what it was as far as that was concerned. He was talking about how this fool has signed up to work every single day of September. I said, wait a minute. You said that you had a little appointment set up because he ultimately is basically not even doing nothing with the baby mama or whatever. I said, you told me you had a situation set up for Labor Day. What's going on with that? He was like, oh, I'm still going to do that. I was like, oh, so are you not going to do that anymore because you're going to be at work? He was like, no, I'm still going to do that. I was like, what is wrong with you? Basically, this boy said that he is getting his stuff together and he is going to be moving out, ain't going to have nothing to do with her no more, and they just going to have to figure out how they're going to do shared custody and all that stuff with the kids, because he said he's so sick and tired of her, it don't even make no sense, and all this other stuff. So he's basically playing along to get along or whatever, but he's over her. Like, he literally will leave the house and call me and then vent to me about what just went on. Like, one day, one of them days that I was off, he was, of course, still working. He had gotten off work and came home. And I'm confused now thinking about it, because he got off work and he went to the store and he got, like, her favorite sorbet and all this other stuff. And, like, whatever she likes is, like, so particular that he had to go to one store. Like, even though all stores sell this stuff, all of them do not carry that particular one. So I was like, oh, what is it? Like, I went to the website and everything I'm listing off, that ain't it. I'm like, what in the world is Heifer like? He went and got her favorite sorbet, got stuff for the kids, did all kinds of stuff. Got home, was taking care of the kids, cleaned up the house, washed the dishes, did all this stuff. After he had already pulled, I think he pulled a 12 that day. Only for the electrician or somebody to come there. And while the electrician was there, he said he was minding his business, and then she just walked up on him and started arguing, started going off. He was like, what is the reason for that? He was like, I done had a long day at work. I came home to you, and I'm trying to, see, this is the thing. I do not condone cheating, which he ultimately is going to be doing despite my efforts. on Labor Day or whatever, right? He told me from time to time he just step on out because she ain't fulfilling his needs and all this other stuff. I'm like, Lord, this thing got real ridiculous. Like, don't nobody have time. And so that's why he was like, I'm already done anyway. Like, she don't really give it to me and all this other stuff. I'm like, Lord. So it's just a mess. And so, like, I always try to tell him, like, you're wrong. Don't do that. And so y'all need to work on things. Like, I always, like, every time I'm talking to him, I'm always telling him, I'm always encouraging him. I'm like, y'all got 2 young kids together. Like, you don't think y'all can work it out? He says, no. Like, no, there's nothing you can say to me. Like, no. I'm like, what in the world? So, I don't know, child. It just be too much going on with that. So, had to deal with the side heifer a little bit today, but not really. Thank God. She was in her department. I was in my department. Our departments are right next to one another. But the issue is there are certain resources that they use that we use as well. And I hate it. I hate whenever we are using them at the same time, because depending on what they are and the condition that they're in, y'all excuse me, I know I look like the Walking Dead. I literally did not have any sleep. Depending on what the condition is in, the heifer will run up there as fast as she can to go retrieve stuff instead of, and see, it's stupid because, like, specifically today, I did the paperwork. I did my paperwork, right? And what they have to do on as far as their part of the paperwork, it's on our same sheet or whatever, right? So that the person who comes to get the paperwork knows what resources we need. Well, I had done mine within the first 10 minutes of me getting up there. Them heifers waited 30, 45 minutes. And I'm like, he waiting on y'all. And the longer he got to wait on y'all, the longer it take for him to get me my stuff. Now, when I came in, I was very low on certain resources. So I told him to send me certain things like now and then send the rest of them later on, right? I'd be doggone if the person that they had paired up with me is somebody who he wasn't available because they had him doing what I consider to be the most hated task, which was something that shouldn't have been done. Look, I done told y'all before that I hate doing the most hated task, but if I'm doing it by myself or I'm doing the majority of it, we don't have to worry about the audit having some kind of an issue coming up within it, right? Well, that man was up there almost the whole 4 hours that he had to stay over, because he was staying over, and then the person that worked on the following shift, she had to come in early. And I'm just like, I had to go hunt down the breaker to ask her if she could break me out for my first break, and told her that more than likely she won't have to do nothing else. But he was up there the whole time. I'm dealing with the only operational part of my department, which is the most important part of my department, by myself, which he was supposed to be the main one doing. Man, it was too much going on. And I mean, I handled it fine. It was just the fact that I had to hope that she was going to be able to break me out. So she did break me out, and I was like, cool. Like, I literally had nobody doing nothing. So since I was over there by myself, there wasn't a 2-on-2 situation where myself and him could have been going to get the resources and then had a better chance of me being able to get my stuff sooner than to have to keep on texting the guy to tell him, hey, I didn't get all my stuff, because they ended up pulling all my, taking all my stuff or whatever. Like, they really be trying to decide. That heifer is she's notorious for trying you like that. Child, like I said, I can't wait until the day comes and I can tell y'all about the foolishness. Like, I can go into detail about what it was, and y'all are going to be like, what? Yeah, it's a lot. A lot of moving parts, considering where I work. Like, the most be popping off. So anyway, yes, Lord, for the rest of our days. Oh, okay, I'm good. Yeah, I got until September 20th because I'm going to use it again. Holy do in the name. So, but yeah, I hate when we have a lot of similar things that we use, because she really will run up there as fast as she can and walk as fast as she can back and forth getting stuff. Now, I lost a lot of weight today. I already know that. Like, the most be popping off. Like, people are like, girl, you really doing it? I'm like, I'm really not, though. Like, y'all don't even know how much I'm not doing right. And I'm still losing because I do the most at work. Like, y'all don't understand. If I'm exercising, essentially, for 5 to 6 hours, 5 to 7 hours a day, I ain't got no choice but to lose weight. Child, I did the most today. The most. And I was tired on top of that. Like, Lord, y'all see me looking like The Walking Dead. But anyway, so yeah, outside of that, like, I ain't really had no issues with her, but I was just like, this heifer better not say nothing to me. Because I had moments where I could go and get mine because she was kind of preoccupied. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, boy, I ain't got time for it. I do not have time for it. And she ain't say nothing. I'm like, yeah, you better not say nothing to me. Like, don't do it. Like, don't do it. I had to tell the person who came in after the guy who left that, you know, since she was the main person that needed the stuff, I told her, like, look, you gotta fight for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like, she was fighting with her side. Like, the most was going on. So I got most of the stuff. Later on in the day, I ended up texting old boy telling him I needed a certain amount left, that was left in my order to get or whatever. And he was like, they still stealing your stuff? I was like, yeah, like, I would have been had all of my stuff by now. So he had to send me my stuff like right before. He was like, do you want it before you go to break or after? I said, now please. So he, you know, it was to the point where he had to ask me, was I ready to get the stuff so they wouldn't go snatch it up. And I'm like, shoot, I told that woman what the situation was. Our department was fine, and I was just waiting on him. So he was texting me, asking me, was I ready? I was like, yep. Yeah, I'm ready. Shoot, I ain't got time for it. You run me my stuff. So, like, we had to do that in order to get our stuff. And this was, like, the first time that day that she actually had gotten some stuff. Or anybody had gotten some stuff. Because I had been pulling stuff all day. I had been getting the stuff all day. It is what it is. But, yeah, y'all. Other than that, I had a great day. Child, in 2 days, they got me on the paperwork talking about, hey, you're going to be training in the new department. And I'm like, I'm disgusted. Like, I'm so disgusted. Like, as of right now, everybody that's over there, that's supposed to be working over there, I'm good with all of them. My partner, he's over there most of the time. Somebody asked me about him the other day. I'm like, well, you know, he's over in the new department almost all the time now. So, you know, you're not going to see him. And he likes it over there. So, you know, it is what it is. But I, on the other hand, I don't want nothing to do with the foolishness. I'd be dogging if I'd have spoke it up, and now I got to go over there and train. They got me under there as the last person talking about I'm training. But the other 3 people are over there. And I'm just like, child, my head hurt just thinking about it. And I'm hungry. But yeah, I got to go over there unless they change it. They got me on Sunday. I got to go over there and train. So we going to see how that go. I'm not excited about it. I'm very annoyed. The only good thing about it is that it's cooler over there. It's actually cool. I mean, I say cooler, it's cool over there. What else, y'all? Y'all know the foolishness always commences in the house. I am very exhausted. I am so tired. Y'all, when I finally woke up after barely getting the 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep, I woke up mad. Like, my body is telling me I ain't getting enough sleep. Like, if I wasn't super paranoid about deer and random people walking in the street and the factors that are always present, like, okay, is it raining? Is it cold? Is it dark outside? Is it windy? Like, is it snowing? Is it sleeting? Is it ice on the street? It'd be so many different factors I have to, like, deal with on a daily basis that it's like, it's too much stuff I got to deal with for me to not get enough sleep. Because I believe in driving safely. Now, I know I be on here talking to y'all while I'm driving, but y'all don't understand. I be doing overtime. I be doing overtime when it comes to that. I really will sit up there and be like, all right, I'm speaking to them. I'm trying to get out what I need to get out. But is it really going to come out the way I want it to come out? Hopefully. Because that's why I never really wanted to do this before, because like if I'm driving, I feel like I'm gonna forget a whole lot of stuff I want to say, or I'm gonna be quiet and trying to concentrate and on what I want to say and what I'm supposed to be looking at and focusing on, because I'm driving, obviously. But yeah, y'all, I've been getting better at it, I think. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave y'all alone now. I really do appreciate y'all tuning in and showing me love. Y'all are so sweet. I really do appreciate it though. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.